while ago. Let's just try 6 here, and that may not work, but let's try 8. I think it'll go 8 times. Sometimes you have to try these multiple times. This is 48 and 4. 8 times 1 is 12. Yeah. So the answer is 8. Negative 8. Sorry. Ken was walking down a wooded path for 5 minutes. The elevation dropped steadily. Altogether, it dropped 15 feet. So he's walking down this wooden path. The elevation drops. And again, this is a good idea for us to draw a picture. For 5 minutes. It's going to be sanctioned off 5 minutes, 2, and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Altogether, it dropped 15 feet. What was the change in elevation during the first minute? Well, it doesn't matter if it's the first minute, the 12th minute, or the the whatever. We just want to know what the elevation drop was per minute. So I'm going to say negative 15 divided by the minutes. Our answer is going to be negative, and it's 3. Negative 3 feet in the first minute, or 3 feet per minute. Randy swam underwater. His elevation changed steadily for 5 minutes. Altogether, it changed negative 25 feet. What was the change in elevation during the during each minute? That's very similar to number 14. We would say negative 25 divided by 5 for an answer of negative 5. Mark withdrew the same amount of money in the savings account each month for 4 months. Altogether, he withdrew $240. Again, these are exactly the same amount every month. He didn't make any deposits. What was the change in his savings account balance each month? In other words, what was the change? Remember, this is a withdrawal of $240. So that's going to be represented by negative 240 divided by 4 equals, and I'll just spare you the math, it's negative $60 per month. Okay? And don't forget your unit of measure. A small company had a profit of negative $120. That means they lost $120 in January. If it continues to have the same profit for 5 months, and of course it's possible to lose money after losing money for 5 months, what will be the the company's total profit in 5 months? Well, if it's negative 120 in 1 month, what would it be in 5? We would multiply negative 120 times 5. The answer is going to be negative, because a negative times a positive is a negative. We got 120 times 5. This is 0, 0, 1, 600. Our negative $600. Don't forget your unit of measure. They would have lost $600 or had a negative profit. A submarine at negative 235 meters dives to a depth 8 times its initial depth. So this is basically telling us we have to multiply this by 8. 8 times what it originally was. So for example, if I owed Jason $10 and all of a sudden I owed him 10 times as much, I would have to multiply that by 10. Well, same here. What depth does the submarine, to what depth does the submarine dive? We got to say negative 235 times 8. The answer is going to be negative. So 235 times 8, that's 40, carry the 4. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 4 is 28, carry the 2. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 is 18. 1,880 feet negative. Don't forget your unit of measure. And don't forget that this is talking about negative elevation. And finally, a rock dropped into the ocean would take 40 minutes to reach negative 6,400 meters. So you drop it, it falls steadily. It takes it 40 minutes to get, practically 3 miles or more than 3 miles under the surface of the water. If the rock drops steadily, how far would it fall in 1 minute? Well, if it took 40 minutes for it to drop this much, we have to ask ourselves, how long would it take it to, or how long would it drop in 1 minute? So basically you have negative 6,400 over 40 and basically you're going to say 6,400 divided by 40 to see how far it would drop in 1 minute. Okay, 40 won't go into 6, but it will go into 64 once. I got 40 here, remainder of 24, but I got to bring down my 0. That goes in there 6 times. 6 times 40 is 240. 0, 0, 0. 160 meters in 1 minute. That's a pretty fast moving rock. Or I'm sorry, excuse me, negative 160 meters. Good luck.